Welcome back on this new tutorial about the book that I just released, which is Learning on Building End-to-End Test Automation with Cypress and OKR. So I won't go into the detail of the OKR methods. The idea of this tutorial is to present the code that is attached to each chapter. So we are in part 3, and it was Cypress 9. And we would show what is Cypress 10 and maybe make a case with Docker. Okay, so for the moment, I'm still in the same environment. I have XAMPP, and I have a local installation on my website on a custom URL of WordPress. Basically, also, I have integrated different language. If I need to change, for instance, the language of the back office, that's pretty useful because I made some tests and tried to see some good practice to handle dashboard or CMS that may exist in different language, which is my case on in my professional. Okay, so let's go back to the little stuff that I have. So I've selected a different bunch of commands that are used for Cypress. I won't go into the details of the test, but for instance, right now we know now how to open. So we saw how to open Cypress, but then we can make configuration whatever you want. So this one, for instance, will load Cypress without video and without a screenshot on failure. Everything is documented on the official website, and we still have things working. What I want to show you is that the end-to-end website are really brittle because you may stick to the HTML. So for instance, this one, the 3, if I open it, which is here, you see there's a lot of in comment because I've changed different theme from WordPress. So the good practice is not to be too much stick to the, for instance, right here, everything is working. But if I change, first of all, if I change a theme, it won't work. So for instance, I'm going there, I'm going there. So to show you just the idea of, I'm taking this one, for instance. So I'm using Generate Press, which is a free theme, and this time I'm activating 2022. So it will change totally my layout. And then unfortunately, if I relaunch the 3, it won't work because it's full of elements that are sticked with the theme. Okay, so that's one thing that may be annoying for you, is that if you're writing a lot of tests, you have to think about to withdraw from the HTML and to find as much as possible. And the book is explaining how to do so. Okay, so I'm getting back the theme again, just to show you that it will work. So that's working for WordPress, but that's working for any kind of CMS or any kind of website, this kind of consideration. So if I reload, then it will work with no issue because all the CSS selector are okay. Okay, let's take another one. Let's take, for instance, let's go back here and choose some other. You have also the env, which is pretty useful because you can set some value inside the configuration of Cypress, and I'm using it a lot, especially when I have to test different language. So for instance, you can check on the configuration. You see all these elements that are coming from the config file, and then you see the env stuff right here. You have English, okay? Meaning that you have loaded a specific version of your Cypress. Okay, I cut it off. I will show you That's basically the same, except that I'm not using the runner, I'm using the console. So then it will go through all the website, all the tests that are here from AP that are present in integration, okay? And you see he's going to go through, there's 32 test founds, and he will go with the first one, which is API. So be sure to have load your WordPress. I mean, your environment is okay, because when you're launching, you may have a lot of error, okay? And right here, I have configuration to have reporting and so on, but everything is explained in the book, and you can find, if you don't want to buy the book, you can find explanation. Inside the code, this one I'm specifying browser. That's exactly the same as the previous command, but I'm specifying the Chrome, the browser, just to be sure that I will test whether it's Firefox, whether it's Chrome. It's pretty useful, okay? So that will do exactly the same. I stop it. This one is exactly the same. So I'm handling a specific one. So that's a multiple login. So if I open the 20, where is he? Here, 20. So he will try to log as a different username. So be sure to have, for this one, be sure to have in users. It's when you have different role in the CMS or in the website you're using, and you have a single sign-on, and then you be sure to test everything. So for instance, he's testing right here. He's going to test as a super admin, as an administrator, and so on. Okay. And you see the language is not defined, by the way. I did not specify the language, and I'm loading the global value. So I should stop it, for instance, and say, okay, I'm going to specify a new command, which is this one. And also I will specify the language. So let's do it. Whoops. Where I specify the language. So basically when I will, this one will be defined, okay? The language will be defined inside my, inside the output in the console. I see. Testing end-to-end has been replaced. And so basically, he's testing in English the dashboard that is in English. And we're coming to the last command, which is I made specific config file. They're pretty useful right here, and I have also in Spanish. Okay, so there's a lot of specific element, and even though I'm using also specific config fixtures that are in English and in Spanish. You see, so for instance, if I test it in English, it will need the label inside in English, and if I test it in Spanish, it will test in Spanish. So let's do it. So we're okay, it's going through. I'm cutting out, and then I'm coming back here. So with the custom config, okay, so it's going to open right here the runner, and then you can check in the settings that he has called this element and all the element, not only the language, but all the elements that are specified inside this one. Okay, so you still have the same base URL, but everything here is specified for the English. Okay, and I can do exactly the same if I want to launch specific stuff in Spanish. Oops. So I use the code language to pass. I'm leveraging on the code language used by WordPress. And here you can see that this time I've loaded the Spanish. So I'm supposed to test it in Spanish. So I may have to change right here the English to Spanish. And you can see that I've taken a lot of language that can be available right here in WordPress, but I won't dig into. You have all the element that enables this, internationalization. Okay, and let's do the last one. Oops. The last command. Yeah. So for instance, I'm loading it in Spanish like I did previously. So that was the correct one. And I'm supposed to test this in Spanish. But for instance, let's say I'm not changing my stuff. And so maybe when I will do this one, the 14, so I'm going to edit it, it won't work because I didn't have the time to change. That's the 14. That is going to go through the navigation. No, it's 13, 14 right here. It's going to test the navigation. So I think it's in support. Oops, sorry. Right here. See, he's gonna import stuff. That's this one. This is a command. No. It has been, sorry. It has been made. I have made a specific. That's it. I'm testing right here the navigation. So let's do it. Let's launch it, and it should fail because he's gonna try to compare the string from English in Spanish to Spanish, and it won't work. So you see, we have launched the Spanish as a language, and we have load a config in Spanish, and then some of the tests will work because I'm avoiding to test the label, but right here on the second part on the sub navigation, it won't work because you see that it's in English right here and is expecting Spanish. You see, dashboard is supposed to be escritorio. Okay, so for instance, if I change and I swap and I go to Spanish, then it will work. So it's all in Spanish, and you see we have escritorio, and then we reload. So the first part of the test will work. That means this one, it was testing the logic, but this one, which is testing the sub navigation and the label, will this time work, apparently. I think I should restart with the Spanish defined. Sometimes you have to restart Cypress. You don't change stuff like that, then it's loading correctly. It should work normally. 14, that's it. So basically you have everything to understand. If you're not familiar with Cypress and even with end-to-end testing, you have all the code available, and most of the explanation are in the book. So that's the reason why I'm not giving some more explanation. So right here, apparently it has worked this time. And you see, it's appeared to be in Spanish. So the first are okay because I'm just testing their presence, the fact that they are existing into the navigation. But then the second one is testing the label. What I want to show, I mean, inside the book, is that I'm trying to see as much as possible. So there's two plugin AYA because I think my WordPress, which is pretty brittle, I understand, my WordPress has two plugins that are not updates. So just have to change into the JSON here. I will do plugin 2. Then it should work. Yeah, let's see. You see, that's pretty easy then to update without touching your code. That's currently what I'm doing. So basically, you define your testing, and then you manage all the value and all the possibility of your website or CMS inside external files. So I hope that it will work, but normally it should work because you see it's expecting apparentia. And then this time I've just changed, yeah, the plugin has worked. Plugin 2 equal to plugin 1. Anyway. And then I think I should change maybe. The best things to do is to update right here and to remove, but then maybe I can try to figure out. No, I think it's this one. So you see it's loading. And I think, yeah, that's also one thing that I've made is that I have implemented right here all value. This is stuff, this is language, this is it. This is it, and I will type plugin. So I've tasted Portuguese, Spanish, and then I should have plugin 2 then, you see, and then it will work. So you see, I just read the logic of my test, but I won't touch really the test. I have put some element inside external files, like again, I repeat, and then this time it would work, because then if I'm plugin 2 and plugin, it won't, yeah, you see, it has worked. He has made everything okay. So where is he exactly? Cool. Plugin 2 to be a string. Okay, sure. And I think at the end I'm testing content escritorio, and then plugin 2 deep equal to plugin 2. Okay, that's where, because I've changed it right away, but I did not change my test. So basically, when you will have to update your stuff, or that's pretty brittle when you use a label, but sometimes you need to make this kind of test. That's what I'm explaining. And on a PO set mindset, which is my work, sometimes you have to bypass some guidelines or good practice to be sure that you're testing the correct environment and the correct way. And this is the way I present the way I handle this complexity and many more. Okay? Thank you for watching. See you then. Bye-bye.